Hello world, and welcome back to another transit chart reading from Beyond the Matrix. My name is Sarah, and today I'm going to be talking some more about the full moon with regards to the ruler of the full moon. So I have the chart set for when I'm recording this, and right now Mercury, Venus, and the Sun are still in Sagittarius, and the moon will be moving into this opposing position to join Mars here in the sign of Gemini. But first, the moon has to finish going through Taurus, where it's exalted. It's leaving its exaltation to move into this full moon. If we're living our lives by the moon and kind of taking this time to nourish ourselves, give ourselves what we need, even if that's pampering or indulging in our favorites, that may be something that we feel pulled to do right now because moon in Taurus. And it looks like today the moon is going to run into Uranus. Of course, this is all from our geocentric perspective, so I want to make that clear. The planets are not actually colliding, and nor do I believe that to be what's happening. What's happening is the moon and Uranus will be taking up the same place in the sky. The degree will be the same. They'll be at 15 degrees of Taurus together. Now, it is important to mention that with Uranus, there may be something shocking that happens already, the lead up to this full moon, because Uranus is the planet of shocking revelations and rebellion and revolution. You can literally think of thunder or a bolt of lightning. Something comes in a flash and then it's gone, but it's caused chaos. So moon hitting Uranus can have that effect, and it's something to look out for today. I'm just going to move this by the hour to see kind of what time that's going to happen, because this is how I prepare for my day now, is to talk to the microphone about it. For Central Standard Time, it's going to happen at 11:05 a.m. That's around the time for this big shocking change. And I wouldn't say hold your breath for it. Sometimes you can learn something or do something and you don't find out till much later how pivotal it was, a choice. So something with financial systems, because it's Taurus, it could be quite big considering it's so close to the North Node. But yeah, just something to watch out for. So the moon's going to move through that conjunction with Uranus. By the time we reach the 6th, Mercury is going to move into a square with Jupiter. Mercury in Jupiter's sign at the critical 29th degree. This 29th degree is also called the anaretic degree. So this is the degree of fate, the culmination of something here between Jupiter and Mercury. It only further adds to the intensity of what's already going to be a very lively full moon. So Mercury is closing in on Jupiter. So closing into this square, Mercury in Sagittarius, which is Jupiter's sign. Jupiter's at home. There's a lot of paying attention to detail that the big overarching philosophies of Sagittarius don't really absorb into. Sagittarius is big overarching structures, where Mercury really wants to get in and dig into all of the information. Jupiter being in Pisces, this dreamy sign, it's dreaming big. And Mercury being here, like there's a lot of things that we're not taking into consideration. Look, just see like Hermes with his wings pacing back and forth and trying to bring up all of the reasons why not to Zeus. Zeus is dreaming and making up all sorts of plans, and none of it seems really all that grounded. So Mercury's got this fire lit underneath him, and he's collecting data, organizing information, putting it all together. Very positive, very excited, but that last minute before a project's due, or, the last couple of hours of putting something together, and you're just hoping that he didn't miss anything, and there's a lot of excitement, but it's also a lot of pressure. It's unnerving. Mercury's to do with the nerves. So I see this as that near release, but not quite. Just before the full moon, I expect there to be this great sense of needing to hold yourself back, not in the sense of you missing an opportunity. In fact, there should be an opportunity in all of this. So it's not that there's really a chance to miss the opportunity if you really have faith and believe deeply and know that what you're putting effort into is for you. It was designed for you. You magnetically attracted it. You brought it in. And there's something really irresistible about that thing that you've worked so hard for. I mean, these are just like, it's the last moments of getting the stuff together. This is exactly what you've been wanting. This is exactly what you've been asking for. And there's this little bit that you have to do on your part. This is on you. So we're going back and forth here between the moon and Mercury because they're like the main influencers on this energy. The moon, because of course it's a full moon. The moon is reflecting the light of the sun in every full moon. But Mercury, because Mercury is the ruler of the house within which the moon will be at her brightest. So what's happening is Mercury's just hugging that line, about to move into Capricorn. The moon is moving through aspects with the planets. So the moon went through that sextile with Neptune. After going through the square with Saturn, it's going to go through this trine with Pluto at the 26th degree. At that point, the moon will have gone through all the aspects with the exception of a sextile to Jupiter. Then what we're going to have is Mercury at the anaretic degree in Sagittarius, the moon at the anaretic degree in Taurus, and Jupiter in the anaretic degree in Pisces, which I think is just pretty interesting. Now, the moon is closing in very tightly to Mars. The moon will move into the sign of Gemini, where the full moon will occur. Mars is going to be a bright red planet. I saw Mars last night, and it looks red. It looks rusty compared to the other planets and stars. So take a look particularly on Tuesday evening, you'll be able to see Mars. You'll know it's Mars, especially because it'll be so close to the moon. That's the way that you'll be able to identify Mars, and it will look rusty, reddish color. Mercury will finally move into Capricorn just before the full moon takes place, as the moon is moving into Gemini. This kind of feels like when it starts. And I should mention too, it's not like it's not timed in this way that we understand time. So it's not like at this very moment this is going to happen. I just like running through it this way because it's magical to watch how synchronistic it can appear to be. Just because there's some sort of pattern here. These glyphs are revolving in a circle, and so there's going to be times when there's a shape that's starting to take form or an aspect between two planets. simply because they're confined to a circle on this, representation. So it isn't that it's so um, miraculous that there would be aspects drawn up. It's just peculiar how they happen at a particular time. So, for instance, this is one of those things where it's just mad how the timing seems predestined. That's the feeling that I get from looking at these charts is the divinity within the chart. I can see here a visual representation of something that's beyond words amazing. And when I wake up in the morning and this is what I reflect on, the majesty of life itself here, cycling for eons into the past and future, that it can line up this way and that events can happen in a particular order in a particular time. I don't do any justice to this concept by trying to explain it, even though I continue to try to get that feeling across of awe that I have with the dancing planets. Digression over. So, just as the moon moves into Mercury's sign, Mercury moves into Capricorn. I love this kind of timing. I mean, you can watch it happen. I'm going to move just an hour forward and you'll see the moon cross over into Gemini. Mercury here crosses over into Capricorn. So timing is incredible here. And moon moving into Gemini is very, like I was mentioning in the last video, flighty, quick, curious, creative, playful, maybe manipulative, maybe a little bit immature, can be outbursts, because Gemini has many faces and it can flip through those faces. Mercury in Capricorn, on the other hand, is very orderly, structured, ambitious. There are rules here, studious, oriented towards business and building. So it's getting it much more grounded. It's bringing it down to earth, the idea or the thoughts that are buzzing about. So I've moved the clock ahead to when the full moon will take place. For me, that's going to be December 7th at 10:06 p.m., which is Central Standard Time. That's 11:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The moon will be opposing the sun at 16 degrees and 1 minute. Mars will be accompanying the moon at 16 degrees and 7 minutes. So with regards to Mercury now, because I've already talked about this configuration, but adding in Mercury is like the moon and Mars. Mars particularly is kind of pushing the moon over, trying to get some of the spotlight. It's like a belligerent audience member trying to take the stage. And Mercury over here in Capricorn says to me, okay, I guess we just can't have fun. This is why we can't have nice things, because you got to get up there and act like a fool. So now I have to be the one that's mature here, like the young one. Mercury, the embodiment of youth, has to be the one that's going to put his foot down. And it's the manager at the nightclub that flips the lights on. Okay, this is it. That's it. We're done here. And I think that could be something that we use to our advantage, because it's reckless, the moon and Mars together. They're belligerent. One's crying because oh, this is so great. This is like Kanye and Taylor Swift. That's I don't think this is their signs. I know Kanye, or Ye, formerly Kanye, has some prominent Gemini placements. I don't know what Taylor Swift's placements are, but I think it's funny because she writes kind of sappy love songs. And this is like that moment when she's receiving her first award and Kanye comes up and he says the whole thing. Beyonce should have got it or whatever. It's so funny. This is a perfect kind of picture of that because it's Gemini. There's a microphone, there's communication, there's speaking. Mars is this combative, he fought his way up to the stage. Moon is just sitting there like, what? This is all opposing the sun in Sagittarius. So that Moon Mars conundrum is opposing the sun in Sagittarius, which is this ideal of higher education, foreign travel, expansive ideas, philosophy, the structure of things. So the sun is trying to put on a good show here. It was supposed to be jovial and optimistic. It's almost like the talent show. Yeah. So the sun was putting on a talent show and Moon and Mars can't get it together. That's the way that I'm looking at this Mercury in this position. It's definitely possible to interpret it differently, but that's the real life scenario that comes to mind for me. Just a playful way to put it so that it kind of embodies some characters and you can get a better perspective on the role that Mercury can play here, the role that our communication can play here, or our ability to organize. This Mercury wants to build. This Mercury is not accusatory. This Mercury is not condescending. It's not shaming anyone. It's not saying, I told you so. It's basically saying, if you want to have nice things, if you want whatever it is that you're aspiring towards, then you need to get your act together. This is a disciplinary kind of Mercury, but not judgmental. Mercury is going to provide some structure here. It's going to get things in order, or at least it is concerned with the business running smoothly and with things not getting out of hand. Mercury's the really good mediator here. I'm hoping to release a meditation considering the severity that I'm forecasting here. I think it's one of the best things that we can do is train our mind through meditation or some sort of practice, devotion that allows us to take a break from thoughts. We can't always be stoic. Sometimes we're going to get angry. And in those moments, it's not easy to control it, which is why training yourself to sit through discomfort, to sit when your mind wants to go everywhere and do everything and get all the tasks done, to be able to sit through those urges for 10 minutes a day helps in the big situations too, because your pattern of thought, the pattern that you seek, is different when you're always exercising that impulse to react. So we constantly exercise our impulse to react. I want food, I can order it. I want a movie, I can order it. I want a game, I can order it. I can get all that stuff to me right now. If there's a charge on my account that I didn't put there, I need that off now. And so there's things that can instantly send us into rage. And if we're practicing always giving into that, then that becomes who we are. If our practice is something like meditation, where any sort of practice that puts you in the flow state, if that's our practice and we continue to go back to that, we train our mind to seek gratification from the result of whatever it is that we are doing. So the very thing that we are doing is going to provide us the satisfaction, the gratification in the end. It's not something that we have to go out and seek. And with meditation, I mean, it's all inside. With ice baths and being able to control your breathing, it's all about what's inside, willpower, the ability to strengthen your mind. All right. Well, I hope that this has been helpful, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll be back again very soon to talk about another transit. So I hope you'll join me then.